story starts by showing a police academy where many boys and girls come to join the police force and undergo training. The training lasts 4 years. Among them is a guy named June, whose mom worries a lot about him, but he tells her not to worry and says goodbye before heading to the academy. Similarly, on the other side, another guy named Kong says goodbye to his dad and leaves. Like this, all the boys and girls say goodbye to their parents and come to the academy. At the start, according to the rules, everyone's hair is cut short. Then, Professor Young spoke to all the students. He said that it takes 4 years to become a police officer from this university, but before that, everyone must complete a 2-week training. In this training, their physical health will be tested. He also said that last year, out of 100 students, 6 ran away during the training. He told them that if they finish the full 2 weeks, their admission will be confirmed. So he encouraged everyone to be brave and complete the training. After that, the students went to the university. One of the boys, named Jae-hoo, said, "My dad is a police officer. That's why I want to be a police officer too." Then he looked at June and asked, "Hey bro, why do you want to be a police officer?" But June didn't say anything. Jae-hoo then said, "Are you just here to pass time or what?" Right at that moment, an announcement was made. Everyone was told to come to the field quickly for their first day of training. So all the students rushed to the field as fast as they could. They began doing physical exercises. Every day they were woken up very early in the morning. They had to do all kinds of training, rolling on the ground, push-ups, and many more exercises. One day, during lunch, all the students were standing in line to get food. Each student was given 2 sausages with rice, but when it was June's turn, he asked the person in charge if he could get 2 extra sausages. June said, "You skipped so many things, but you're only giving 2 sausages?" The man replied, "Then take less rice." After hearing that, June didn't argue. He quietly walked away and sat down at the table to eat. In front of him sat Kong. June saw that Kong had already finished eating, but the sausages were still on his plate. June asked, "Bro, aren't you eating your sausages?" Kong replied, "Sausages have too much sodium. It's bad for health. That's why I don't eat them." June smiled and said, "Then can I eat yours?" Without waiting, June grabbed Kong's sausages and started eating. Kong laughed and said, "Man, you really love food." June just kept enjoying the food happily. From then on, June and Kong became good friends. They always teased each other whenever they had the chance. Kong would often give June the middle finger playfully. June would quietly whisper something and tap him on the cheek. After many kinds of training, the final day of the 2-week training arrived. On that day, Hat Madam told everyone, "You all must run to the top of that mountain and come back here within 1 hour. If you fail, you will not be admitted to the university because of poor physical fitness." After the short break, everyone started climbing the mountain. They all reached the top and began running back down. But while coming down, Kong tripped and fell. He twisted his ankle badly and couldn't run anymore. He started asking others for help, but no one stopped to help him.
Kong even asked Ji-ho for help, but Ji-ho said, "If I help you, I won't make it back in time," and then he left. Then Jun came. Kong looked at him and said, "Bro, please help me." But Jun said, "I'm sorry, man. I have to make it on time." He started walking away. Kong shouted, "Hey, did you forget I gave you my sausages? You can't say no to me now." Jun replied, "You're seriously bringing up those sausages? You weren't even going to eat them. If you had eaten them yourself, I wouldn't have taken them from you." Kong said, "Still, you ate them. That's the point." Then he grabbed Jun and begged, "Bro, please help me. I really need this admission." Jun still didn't agree. But then Kong added, "From now on, I'll give you all my sausages, and also, my dad owns a meat shop. I'll get you free meat from there too." Jun looked at him and said, "Are you serious?" Kong said, "Yes, bro, I promise." As soon as Jun heard the word meat, the foodie inside him got excited. He smiled and said, "All right then, let's go. I'll carry you." Jun picked Kong up on his back and started running. Meanwhile, all the other trainees had already reached the field. But Jun and Kong were still on the way. Because Jun was carrying Kong, it was taking more time. They both knew the deadline was almost over. Kong started panicking and said, "Hurry up! We're running out of time!" Jun shouted, "I'm going as fast as I can. Stop talking so much or I'll leave you here." At last, this real-life Tom and Jerry finally reached the field. The training madam saw them and asked, "Why are you two so late?" Kong shouted, "Ma'am, I twisted my ankle coming down the hill. Jun carried me all the way here. We're not physically weak. Please let us in." The madam told Kong to calm down. Then she looked at the others and asked, "Who saw Kong like this on the hill?" Several trainees raised their hands. Seeing this, the madam got very angry and said to everyone, "Our job is to help those who are in need. Never forget that. All of you ignored your teammate when he was in trouble. If you can't help your own batchmate, how will you protect the people of this country?" She looked disappointed and continued, "You have no sense of humanity. As punishment, all of you must climb the mountain and do the run again. Let this be a lesson. You must be kind and human." Everyone started the run again, tired but quiet. Jun, standing in the back, smiled to himself. He realized that if he had left Kong behind, he would have been punished too, just like the others. Later, Jun and Kong went to the madam and asked, "Madam, did we get admitted?" The madam looked at them, smiled slightly, and gave them a salute before walking away. That meant yes, they were in. Jun was totally shocked and started jumping around with joy. He couldn't believe it. After that, Jun and Kong went to their hostel. But this time, they didn't tease each other like before. Instead, they started talking about their personal lives. Kong said, "I graduated from Seoul High School." Jun looked surprised and asked, "You went to such a top high school? Then why did you come here? You could have become a doctor and engineer." Kong smiled and said, "Yeah, most of my friends from that school went on to become doctors and engineers, but I wanted to do something different, something unique. That's why I came to the police university." Hearing that, Jun laughed and said, "Man, you're totally one of a kind." Then Kong asked Jun, "What about you? Why did you come here?" Jun replied, "My dad passed away when I was young. My mom raised me on her own, but now she can't afford my tuition fees. This police university doesn't charge tuition, so I came here to study for free and get a job as a police officer." Then Jun looked at Kong and asked, "Anyway, bro, when are you giving me that meat? Don't forget, I'm a big-time foodie. I don't miss out on food." Kong said, "All right, I'll definitely treat you to some meat." While joking around, the two silly guys laughed and said, "From now on, we're officially friends." Then all the students received their admission to the university. Their journey would now last 4 years. During these 4 years, they would learn everything needed to become a police officer: rules, discipline, defense, and much more. Time passed and 2 years went by. Now the scene jumps 2 years ahead. Kong and Jun were living in the same hostel room. Every morning, the alarm would go off and they'd wake up with the rest of the students. They got ready and headed to the university as usual. Kong was great at studying. He could answer almost every question in class. Jun, on the other hand, was amazing at defense and martial arts, but both of them had lost the excitement they had in the beginning. They were now a bit bored with everything, but still always found ways to have fun. One day in class, the professor asked a question. Gio tried to answer it but got it wrong. Then, Kong stood up and gave the correct answer. After that, the two goofballs, Jun and Kong, looked at Gio and flashed their signature move, the middle finger. The devil's stickmen were back again. Another day, in defense class, the teacher was showing techniques to fight off enemies, but his weird movements made the whole class try to hold back their laughter. The technique looked so funny that everyone forgot to clap.
It was Jae-ho who finally reminded everyone, "Guys, at least clap!" Jun leaned over to Kong and said, "Bro, I don't even know if that move would work in real life." After class, Jun and Kong were talking about their Christmas plans. Kong said, "As always, I'll probably spend it playing games at the cyber cafe." Jun replied, "I'll go out with my girlfriend." Kong laughed and said, "What girlfriend? You don't have a girlfriend." Just then, Jae-ho walked in, showing off a photo of a pretty girl. "This is my girlfriend," he said. "I'm planning to spend Christmas with her." Jun and Kong both stared in shock and asked, "Where did you find her? Tell us too." Jae-ho smugly replied, "Do you think I'm dumb enough to tell you guys? No way." Jun turned to Kong and whispered, "Bro, it's your job to get the truth out of him." Later, in their taekwondo class, Jun and Jae-ho were in the same group. When it was time to spar, Jun didn't hold back. He gave Jae-ho a solid beatdown during the match. Jae-ho was exhausted, and Jun asked him again, "Tell me, where did you meet that girl?" Tired and cornered, Jae-ho finally gave in. He said, "I met her at a club, the Octagon Club." He even gave Jun the exact address. Jun rushed back and told Kong everything. "There's a club in this city called Octagon. Lots of girls go there. If we show up, we might be able to get lucky too." Kong, being practical, said, "Bro, that club is super expensive, and if you don't spend money on girls, they're not gonna notice you." Jun said, "My mom once told me, girls fall for guys who smile. So bro, give me your best smile." Kong smiled awkwardly, and Jun said, "There you go, man. You look like a real movie hero." Kong laughed and said, "Stop buttering me up." Jun replied, "Come on, bro. You're way better than Jae-ho. If Jae-ho can impress girls with his squishy little baby face, then why can't you?" Kong smiled and said, "Then maybe this Christmas we can do something exciting." So the two of them made a plan. They would go to the club on Christmas night. That day, they took showers and started getting ready. But while dressing up, they realized they didn't have any good clothes to wear.
So John went straight to Jae-ho's room. Kong opened Jae-ho's closet and grabbed a jacket. Jae-ho shouted, "Have I lost my mind? Why would I give you guys my jacket?" John replied, "Come on, bro. Aren't we friends?" Jae-ho said, "Friends? Please. Jackets like these don't suit beggars like you." John asked, "All right, then, what do you want in return?" Jae-ho smirked and said, "I've never beaten you in Taekwondo class. Let me win just once, and I'll give you both the jackets." John agreed, and Jae-ho handed over the jackets to them. They put the jackets on. Since they didn't have any perfume, they sprayed room freshener on their clothes. Then, they wrote a quick request letter to Professor Young, got a pass, and rushed off to the club. After some time, they finally arrived at the club. At the gate, they showed their ID cards to the security guard and said, "We're here on a mission." The guard let them in. Inside, they saw two popular singers performing. They were blown away by the vibe and lights. Everything was wild, and they were totally out of control with excitement. As they looked around the club, they saw beautiful girls everywhere. Their eyes lit up with happiness. One girl even gave Kong a high five. Kong smiled and said to John, "All right, bro, you head that way. I'll go this way." Kong walked up to the girls and started dancing like a total maniac. He was spinning, jumping, and doing weird moves, like a crazy person on the dance floor. But instead of getting impressed, the girls just ran away from him in fear. Meanwhile, John was trying to flirt with a girl. He went up to her and tried to make a move, but the girl completely ignored him and kept talking to her boyfriend. Back on the dance floor, Kong realized that even after all that dancing, no girl was interested in him. So he moved to the side and tried something new, the smile John had taught him to use. He smiled big and confidently at a few girls, but instead of coming closer, the girls saw his awkward smile and walked even farther away. Just then, a drunk girl came up behind Kong. She looked at him and said, "Wow, you're so cute." Then she grabbed his hand and pulled him to the dance floor.
June saw this and shouted, "Hey, where are you going, man? Why can't I get even one girl?" Kong started dancing with the drunk girl, but after a few minutes, her actual boyfriend showed up. Turns out she was so drunk, she thought Kong was her boyfriend. That's why she pulled him in to dance. Her real boyfriend got super angry and almost punched Kong, but in the end, he let him go. Still, Kong was completely shaken and embarrassed. His dream of charming a girl was crushed right there. On the other side, June tried again with another girl. This time, he was doing well. He was finally getting her attention. But when the girl found out that June was studying to be a police officer, she stopped smiling and said, "With a police salary, you can't even pay for 10 days of my lifestyle. You'll always be poor. So what's the point of dating you?" And with that, she walked away. June stood there, heartbroken and disappointed. He then saw the two popular singers enjoying their time. They were surrounded by girls and dancing without a care in the world. Later, June and Kong, the two unlucky goofballs, ended up in a cheap hotel, sitting with drinks in front of them. June sighed and said, "Man, I don't even feel like becoming a police officer anymore. I only joined the police university because I'm poor. But you joined because you wanted to. Look where we are now." Kong said, "I'm not even liking this police university anymore. Life has become really boring." Then he added, "All right, forget it. We came here to find girls, but none of them came near us. Let's just go to the cyber cafe." They left the hotel and started walking toward the cyber cafe. On the way, they suddenly saw a girl. June said, "Bro, maybe this is our last chance. Maybe it's a sign from above." Kong said, "If she turns around and looks at us, that will be a real sign." And just like that, the girl turned and looked back at them. Both of them got really excited and said, "See, this is definitely a sign from above." They decided to get the girl's phone number. They started following her from behind. Kong then said, "Bro, you're more handsome than me. You go and ask for her number." To decide who would do it, they played rock, paper, scissors. But suddenly, they saw some men knocking the girl out and forcing her into a car. June and Kong saw this and immediately chased after the car. They ran as fast as they could, but soon realized they couldn't keep up with the car's speed. They lost sight of it. Then, they called the police helpline and reported the kidnapping. Kong gave them the car's license plate number. But still, they couldn't find the car. So they decided to go to the nearby police station to report everything in person. At the police station, they told an officer about the kidnapping. But the officer said, "Today, the minister's grandson lost something important in the city. The entire police force is busy with that case." He added, "You know how it is. If we don't find the minister's granddaughter, we'll lose our jobs." Kong said, "But 7 hours have already passed since the girl was kidnapped. The danger is getting worse. We need to find her quickly." Actually, they had learned about these kinds of cases in their class. But the police officer there said, "This is an urgent matter we need to handle right now.
We hope to solve this case within 7 hours. After that, we will take you along to the girl's course for training." Then the officer left. Kong and June felt very disappointed. June said, "Bro, let's find this girl ourselves. If we don't do something, she might not survive." Kong replied, "But we're still in training. We're not real police yet." June smiled and said, "I know we're not real police yet, but we're learning all this in training. And bro, you're really smart, and I know how to defend myself. If we think hard, we can figure something out." Kong thought for a moment and said, "Okay, let's go to the place where she was kidnapped. Maybe we can find some clues there." So they went to the spot where the kidnapping happened. Kong said, "The car was already here. That means this was a planned kidnapping." They found a plastic bag lying on the ground. Inside, there was some food. Then they went to nearby restaurants and asked the owners if the food belonged to them. After a long search and many questions, they finally found the real restaurant where the food came from. June and Kong described the kidnapped girl to the woman who owned the restaurant. They said the girl was a college student, a little tall, and wearing a pink jacket. The woman recognized the description. She said, "I know her. She often buys food from me." June and Kong asked if she knew the girl's address. The woman said, "I don't know her exact address, but she works in a building not far from here. Once I spoke to her in the basement of that building." They thanked the woman and headed to that building. But when they got there, they realized the place was illegal. The place was actually an ear cleaning salon, but these kinds of salons were illegal. Girls would sit there with their head on someone's lap while their ears got cleaned. If the police caught them there, the girls would get suspended from the university. That could end their whole career. June said, "It's okay, one of us will go inside and the other will keep watch outside." But Kong's very scared. So again, they played rock, paper, scissors to decide who would go in. After a quick game, it was decided. Kong would go inside and June would watch outside. Kong went inside and entered a room. After a little while, a beautiful girl came into the room. Kong got so shocked that he almost fainted. The girl had her head on his lap while he cleaned her ears. Kong actually started enjoying it a lot.
Outside, Jun was keeping watch. He saw someone eating food at a nearby store and couldn't resist, because Jun was a big foodie. So he bought some food from the store and started eating. He also bought a tape from there. Unfortunately, a police patrol came by soon after. Jun got very worried. He started shouting at the police, calling them corrupt. One of the police officers told Jun to stop, but Jun came closer and called them corrupt, again, right in front of them. The two police officers began chasing Jun. Meanwhile, Kong was so shocked that he slapped himself twice to stay awake. Then he asked the girl in the room about the kidnapped girl. The girl realized who Kong was talking about. The kidnapped girl's name was Eunju. The girl told Kong Eunju's address. Then Kong took the address and left the place. Outside, when Kong saw a police car, he thought, "My game is over. I'm done for." Then Jun ran up to him and said, "Come on, hurry. Let's get out of here." They quickly left and went to the address they had found. When they knocked on the door, a boy came out. Jun and Kong told him, "We're looking for Eunju," but the boy ran away right away. A girl opened the door to the room, so Jun and Kong went inside. They saw that the boy had escaped and was now down the street. Jun and Kong split up and started searching for the boy on both sides of the road. Soon, Kong found the boy, but the boy tried to attack Kong with a knife. Luckily, Kong remembered the defense techniques they had learned in class. He used the moves to fight back and catch the boy. Jun came running over and Kong said, "Hey man, these defense moves actually work." Jun then used the same technique to hold the boy down and started questioning him. Kong learned that the boy, Eunju, and two other girls from the same room lived together, but the boy had sold Eunju to the kidnappers. Kong took the boy's phone and found a visiting card from the kidnappers. Jun remembered the tape he bought at the store and used it to tie up the boy. Then they left him there. Next, Jun and Kong went to Eunju's room. There, they met two other girls like her. The girls told them that Eunju's father was an alcoholic who beat her every day. She had run away from home and was living with them, working together to survive. The girls begged Jun and Kong to find Eunju no matter what. Jun and Kong promised to do everything they could to find her. They gave the girls some money and told them to leave that place and go somewhere safe. Then they headed to the address on the visiting card from the boy. The place was called Chinatown. Their driver warned them, "This place is very dangerous. Even the police don't come here. A lot of bad things happen here." Jun and Kong got out of the car and went to the address on the visiting card. It was a small hotel. Using the boy's phone, they called the number on the visiting card. Suddenly, a phone inside the hotel started ringing.
John and Kong understood that the boy was connected to the person whose phone was ringing. But then that same person called the boy's phone again, which was still with John and Kong. The people inside the hotel realized that John and Kong had done something to the boy. The man and his friends angrily asked John and Kong, "How did you get the boy's phone?" while beating them up. After a while, John and Kong got very angry. Because they knew police defense training, they fought back and took control of everyone there. Then they tied up the men and began asking about Unju. The thug took them to a dark building. When they arrived, John and Kong were shocked. They saw many girls who had been kidnapped and kept there. John asked the thug, "What do you do with these girls?" The thug replied, "We rent these girls out for surrogacy. Rich couples who can't have children use these girls to have babies, and since these girls ran away from home, no one asks about them." After hearing this, John got very angry. He hit the thug hard and took control of him. Then they noticed one of the girls was in very bad condition. She was shivering with fever and blood was dripping from her body. Seeing this, John and Kong decided to first take her to the hospital and bring the police back to rescue the other girls. But as they were about to leave, the rest of the gang's thugs appeared. John and Kong held them off for a while, but then the gang boss arrived. He was extremely powerful and quickly knocked both John and Kong unconscious. The two were then tied up and hung in a room. After some time, Kong regained consciousness and struggled to wake John up too. John managed to free himself from the hanging ropes and then freed Kong as well. When they tried to sneak out, they found all the thugs asleep. John whispered to Kong, "Don't make a sound or it's over for us right here." Kong cheekily gave John the middle finger, showing they couldn't stop teasing each other even in danger. Suddenly, John's alarm went off, waking all the thugs. John and Kong ran as fast as they could and finally reached the main road, heading for the nearby police station. The gang boss chased after them, but they barely managed to get inside safely. The thugs stopped chasing them there. However, John and Kong realized the gang was moving the girls to a new hideout. Inside the police station, they reported the kidnapping and urged the officers to come with them quickly to catch the criminals. The officer asked to see their ID cards, but the gang had already taken those. John and Kong begged the police to hurry anyway, but the officers said they must follow protocol to file a complaint first, which required valid IDs. Frustrated, John shouted, "People's lives are at stake and you care about these rules?" The officer insisted they had to follow procedure. John grew angrier and started insulting the police officer. The officer warned them to leave or face being tased with an electric stun gun. When John refused to calm down, the officer used the stun gun on both John and Kong, rendering them unconscious for the entire night at the station. Their university professor heard about what happened and came to get them in the morning. The professor was kind-hearted and after hearing their story, took them to the gang's last known hideout. But it was too late. The criminals had already moved. The professor explained, "Cases like this can't be handled by normal police. They require planned operations with special forces, but the department is busy, so this will take time." Kong reminded him, "Sir, you taught us it's important to investigate within 7 hours of a kidnapping to reduce risk." The professor acknowledged, but said the department must also save other lives. After much pleading, the professor agreed to track the gang's car using the number Kong remembered and secretly called an officer he trusted to start the investigation. They gave the information about the car, but unfortunately, the car was not registered. That meant to find the car, they would have to check all the CCTV cameras in the whole city. The professor said that all the departments are busy right now. He told them not to worry about it and said, "Come back to the university with me. The police force will investigate this later. If you try to do anything about this by yourselves again, you will be kicked out of the university." Feeling helpless, John and Kong went back to the university with the professor. But even there, they couldn't stop thinking about the kidnapped girls. Then their friend Jae-ho came to see them. Jae-ho told them that the lady who trained them at the city CCTV department was now in charge of the main work there. Hearing this, they called that lady and made a smart plan. They told her, "Ma'am, a friend's car met with an accident, but the car is not registered. Could you please check the CCTV footage and help us find the location of the car?" The lady said, "Okay, but it will take a few days to find it." They gave her the car's number.
Then, using the professor's name, they took 2 handcuffs and 2 tasers from the university, planning to catch the criminals themselves. They started training very hard for the next few days. They practiced martial arts and defense well. After 3 days, the lady found the address of the car and gave it to them. That night, they checked the address on the internet. They saw it was a hospital.
And they found out the girls were going to be operated on the next day. After that, they see that the hospital doctor is actually working together with the gang. This doctor and those criminals are involved in all these illegal activities. They take huge amounts of money from wealthy couples for these cruel deals. The next morning, the gang secretly brings all the girls into the hospital. These illegal things are done inside the hospital without anyone noticing. Meanwhile, Kong and June leave the university early in the morning with the plan to save the girls. They arrive at the hospital's address fully prepared to fight the gang. They face the criminals head-on and start taking them down one by one with powerful hits. After a tough struggle, they manage to overpower the gang members. But in the fight, Kong's left arm gets broken badly. Then they take the elevator to go up to the top of the building. As soon as the elevator gate opens, the gang's boss attacks them. The boss is very strong, and Kong and June struggle to fight him. They try to throw him down and stop him, but they fail badly at first. After persistent effort, they manage to weaken him bit by bit. Finally, June sees his strength decreasing. Using a special taekwondo move, he hits him perfectly at 12 o'clock position and knocks him down hard. Then they rush to the operation room. There, Kong strikes the corrupt doctor and incapacitates him. They successfully stop the illegal operation. They rescue all the girls. Afterwards, they call the professor who brings the police force to arrest all the criminals. The girls get proper medical treatment. But since Kong and June got involved again in this case, the university decides to expel them. The scene changes to a few days later at the university. Actually, the higher officials have found out about what June and Kong did. Because of this, there will be a meeting to discuss whether June and Kong should stay at the university. Professor Young asks them, "If you get kicked out of the university, will you regret it?" June and Kong both say, "No, sir, we won't regret it." They explain, "We didn't do anything wrong, but we don't want to leave this university because we have learned a lot here. Using what we learned, we were able to save those girls, and we want to become police officers." After this, Professor Young leaves to join the meeting. In the meeting, a senior female officer speaks in favor of June and Kong. She says, "They deserve a promotion. They are the true heroes." But some other officers speak badly about them. They say June and Kong broke the rules. They aren't police officers yet, but they already took action like real officers. They think if this is allowed, then every student will start chasing criminals on their own. The female officer replies, "They are future police officers, not ordinary students." Then the head professor, Young, is asked for his opinion. He says if June and Kong had ignored this and just continued training, those girls might not be alive today. Because of them, many girls were saved. No matter what anyone says, I am proud of these two. They are students of our university. Professor Young silences all the opposing voices. Then it is decided that June and Kong will not be kicked out of the university, but their graduation will be delayed by 1 year. That means they have already completed 2 years of training. Normally, after 2 more years, they would become police officers. Now, they will have to train for 3 more years. Professor Young tells them this news and salutes them with respect. June and Kong salute back and thank him. A few months later, one day while working outside the university, Inju, the girl they helped, comes to see them. June and Kong are very happy to see her safe and healthy again. Inju hugs both of them and thanks them. You don't need superpowers to be a true hero. All you need is courage, friendship, and sometimes a little craziness. Maybe that day God's sign was met for Inju. God sent June and Kong to help Inju. By saving her, they also saved several other lives. They proved that courage does not come from a uniform. It comes from the will to do the right thing at the right time. I don't know if the world will change, but as long as crazy, brave people like June and Kong exist, someone will always stand against injustice. Thank you for watching. This movie ends here.